Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Alyssa, and in today's video I thought it would be fun to share 3 Instant Pot meals that take 30 minutes or less from start to finish. Not only are these meals quick and easy, they're delicious and family friendly. My 4-year-old absolutely loves them. So the meals I'm going to be sharing with you in this video is a loaded meat sauce pasta, an easy chicken and dumpling soup, as well as a delicious beef and broccoli recipe. So let's get started. Okay, so tonight's dinner in the Instant Pot is going to be a meat sauce pasta. This can be made with either ground beef or ground sausage, or even both if you want. I'm actually gonna be doing it with ground Italian sausage. I had some in my freezer, so I pulled it out earlier today. It's been defrosting, so it's ready to go. And I've lined up all of the ingredients that I'm gonna show you here in a few minutes. This is actually a recipe that I grew up with. It was my mom's recipe, and then she passed it down to me, and I've been making it for my family for years now. I used to make it on top of the stove in a pan like she used to, and then one day I just decided, well, I'll try it out in my Instant Pot, and it cut the cooking time down drastically. So it's a super easy meal, all in one pot. The pasta cooks in with the meat and the sauce and soaks up all of that yummy goodness. So I'm gonna get going, and I'm gonna show you all of the ingredients I have lined up ready to go, and then I'm gonna get started with cooking. Okay, so here's the lineup of the ingredients for the meat sauce pasta for dinner tonight in the Instant Pot. So I have the Italian ground sausage here. You want either, if you're gonna do beef or sausage or both, you want about a pound to a pound and a half of ground meat for this recipe. And then you can use whatever pasta you like. So I have just some bow tie pasta here ready to go. And then for the seasonings, I have some kosher salt and then some pepper I'm gonna use. I have some Italian seasoning. If you don't have Italian seasoning, you could just use some dried basil, oregano, thyme. And then I have some diced, these are fire roasted tomatoes. You don't need fire roasted tomatoes. You could use just regular diced if you want, or crushed. Some olive oil, and then some garlic and onion that I'm gonna chop up. And then I'm gonna top it with some fresh parsley. You don't need this, I'm just have it on hand, so I'm just gonna top that on top. And then I like to cut up some mushrooms. I have whole mushrooms here ready to go, so I'm gonna get those cut up. And then I put in a little bit of butter, and then you could use red wine, or I have cooking sherry, so I'm gonna use this. If you have some cheap red wine on hand that you can throw in this meal, you can use that as well. And then I put in some grated Parmesan. So I'm going to get everything chopped up and then get this into the Instant Pot. Okay, so I heated up the olive oil, and then I cooked the ground sausage. It needs to brown for about 3 to 5 minutes. So then that's all done. The extra fat down there, you can drain that out if you want. I leave it in for just some extra flavor. So now that the meat's done cooking, I'm gonna add in my diced up onion, my mushrooms, some of the garlic. I forgot to also mention that you need about a cup of beef stock. I don't have beef stock. I actually have just some of this beef bouillon. So I added that into a cup of warm water, about a teaspoon, and just whisk that up. And then I'm gonna add that in when I add in my tomato sauce. So the onion, garlic, and mushrooms need to cook down for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'm gonna add in my cooking sherry, and then kind of scrape the bottom of the pan to kind of release all of that yummy stuff down there into the mixture. And then now I'm just gonna add in my jar of tomato sauce. You can get whatever flavor you like. I just have the Walmart brand tomato, basil, garlic. And then your can of diced or crushed tomatoes. then the cup of beef stock or beef bouillon, whatever you have. And then I always throw in a couple tablespoons of butter just for some extra flavor. And then I also sprinkle in some Parmesan cheese. And then just add in your pasta. So you want to have this set to high pressure for 5 minutes, and then once it's done, you just do a quick release and it's ready to go. So it's dinner time and I decided to go with a soup today because it's actually pretty cool out here for the first time in what feels like forever where we live. It's starting to actually feel like fall, and so I'm dying to make a soup, and so I thought I would make a chicken and dumpling soup, and I'm gonna do it in my Instant Pot. I want something quick. I'm tired, had a long night with the baby, so I want something quick that I can just get done, throw all together in a pot and have it ready to go. So I'm gonna show you all the ingredients and then the recipe and where I got it from. I'll make sure to link that down below for you. So here's a recipe I follow for this Instant Pot chicken and dumpling soup. I got it off of allrecipes.com and it'll be linked down below for you. So the ingredients that you're going to be using in this recipe is olive oil, some carrots, some celery, and then some onion. And then you're going to need some low sodium chicken broth, and then you're going to also need some form of chicken. The recipe calls for chicken thighs. I actually had some shredded chicken, the rotisserie chicken from Walmart that's already pre-shredded. I had purchased for some meal prep that I wanted to use up, and it was easy, so I used that. And then some seasoning. You're going to need some parsley, a few bay leaves, some basil, some salt, some thyme, and then some pepper. And then you're going to need a half a cup of frozen peas as well as a half a cup of frozen green beans. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of butter and then 2 tablespoons of flour for the soup portion, as well as 1 cup of flour for the dumplings. And then also for the dumplings, you're going to need baking powder, as well as another 2 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter, and then a half a cup of buttermilk, and then lastly a couple tablespoons of some flat leaf parsley. So now that my veggies are all diced up and ready to go, I'm going to set my Instant Pot to saute and then add in some olive oil, get that heated up, and then throw in your veggies, and you want to cook those down for about 3 to 5 minutes until they're soft and translucent. Along with the veggies, I'm going to throw in a few bay leaves as well as some minced garlic. Like I said before, the recipe doesn't call for garlic, but I always like to cook with garlic just for the added flavor, so it's totally optional. So after we've cooked down our veggies, we're going to want to add in our chicken. So the recipe calls for chicken thighs and then breasts as well. But like I said before, I had some shredded chicken that I had purchased from Walmart for some meal prep. So I'm just going to add that in because I wanted to get that used up. And then next you're going to add in 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth. And then next, you're going to just want to add in your seasoning. next we're just going to put the lid on, and then we're going to make sure that the vent is on sealing. We're going to set it for a high pressure and cook for 9 minutes. So as our soup cooks, we're going to get our butter paste started. So this is just really easy. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter with 2 tablespoons of flour, and then you just want to mash it up to a thick paste. And then once you're done, you're just going to want to set it aside, and it will be added to the soup later. So after we've made our butter paste, we're going to move on and make our dumplings. So you're just going to take some flour, some salt, some baking powder, and mix that all together with 2 tablespoons of cold butter. So next we just want to add in our flat leaf parsley. You can see here I'm taking about 2 tablespoons and getting that chopped up and added into the mixture. And the final step for our dumplings, we're just going to add in our buttermilk and then get that mixed up and set aside. Once the soup is done cooking for 9 minutes, you're just going to want to do a quick release and then get that opened up. If you're cooking with chicken thighs and whole chicken breasts, you're going to want to take your chicken out here at this point and get it shredded and then add it back in. Also here you can take out your bay leaves. You want to make sure to get those out. You don't want to leave them in there. And then you're going to set your Instant Pot to saute, and then you can add in your peas and green beans. So after adding in your veggies, you're just going to want to put in your butter and flour paste and give that a good stir and bring it back to a boil. So after we bring our soup back to a boil, we're going to want to add in our dumplings at this point. So I'm just using a small cookie scoop and getting that added in. And then next you're just going to want to put the lid back on and then set it to slow cooker and let it cook with the vent open for about 10 to 12 minutes. So the next Instant Pot meal I wanted to share with you is beef and broccoli. This recipe I'm showing you right here is from Just a Taste. This particular recipe isn't for the Instant Pot, but I do use a lot of the same ingredients and measurements, although I do add in a few of my own ingredients. So here's the lineup that you're going to need for the recipe. You're going to need some cut up beef. You can use flank steak that you cut into 1-inch pieces, and then you can season it with some salt and pepper, your favorite seasoning. Then you're going to need some water and some cornstarch, as well as some onion and then garlic. Next, you're going to need some olive oil and some beef bouillon, as well as some soy sauce and then some sesame oil. And then you're going to need some brown sugar and then, of course, some fresh broccoli. And then I just serve mine over rice, and of course the rice doesn't go into the Instant Pot. I just cook mine in the microwave to keep this as easy as possible. So first we're going to add some cornstarch and water into a bowl and whisk it together. After that, we're going to add in our already seasoned beef and then toss that with the cornstarch water mixture. So next we're going to make up our sauce for the beef and broccoli. So in a separate bowl we're going to mix up some cornstarch, garlic, soy sauce, and brown sugar and then set that aside. So this isn't on the recipe and it's completely optional, but I like to add in some sesame oil into the sauce mixture. So this is also something that isn't a part of the recipe. This is something I've included because I just wanted some additional liquid while cooking this in the Instant Pot. So I'm just taking about a teaspoon of this beef bouillon and adding it into some warm water and whisking that together. That will be poured in with the sauce into the Instant Pot. And then next we just want to slice up about a half a cup of onion. So now that we've prepped everything, it's time to get cooking. So we're going to set the Instant Pot to saute and we're going to add in some olive oil and get that heated up. So once the olive oil is nice and hot, we're going to dump in our cut up beef, and you want to make sure to stir this constantly while it's cooking. So now that the beef has been cooked almost completely through, we're going to want to add in the beef bouillon and water mixture. And after we add this in, you want to make sure to scrape the bottom of the pan to release all of that yummy goodness down there to get that mixed in with the meat. Next, we want to add in our sauce mixture. So next we're just going to put the lid on and make sure the vent is set to its ceiling, and then we're going to cook this for 10 minutes on a high pressure. So once it's done cooking, you want to make sure to do a quick release. So after the beef has cooked, we're going to now add in our sliced onion and then broccoli. So after we've added in the sliced onion and broccoli, we're going to set it to saute, and then next we're going to put the lid on and make sure the vent is open, and then we're going to bring it back to a boil, and once the broccoli and the onion have completely cooked, it's ready to be served. So my white rice is finished, so I just top the beef and broccoli over the white rice and top it with some sriracha. This is a delicious meal and super easy. I hope you enjoy it.